before we do the knife. Right. Before we do the knife thing, one of the issues we run into when someone's trying to do, here, let's switch sides again. When someone's trying to do this leverage and this twist, is if you're smaller than the person that you're trying to get off of you, sometimes it's hard to get enough leverage to make this twist. If they have big wrists and bigger hands than you do, getting the leverage to make that work and make them, sometimes you just don't have enough leverage or force, especially if you're shorter. I mean, honestly, most of these self-defense moves were designed for shorter people against taller people, but since I'm the one demonstrating, there's never anyone taller than I am. I mean, not that will help me, that will play. So everybody's like, that works for you because you're tall. To make these moves work better, if you're working with somebody who's bigger and stronger, and if I'm going to stand up again just because it makes it easier for everybody to see, and you don't have the leverage to twist their hand, the outside hand right here, all you have to do is slide that down so you get their fingers, and you're going to bend their fingers back while you turn. This is easy, okay? What's not working at all, if you do this right, I didn't add any twist with this hand. All I'm doing is holding her arm in place.
But it's tightening all the muscles all the way up the arm. Stop it!
And guys will figure that out in a hurry, especially if you get the... So they're going to do something mean and stop you by making a fist, because now it doesn't work. And if you're a fan of Steven Seagal movies, even if you're not a fan of Steven Seagal movies, one of his last major releases that was actually in theaters and not the straight to video. What? He was in that, but it really wasn't his movie. No. It was after Half Past Dead. It was Exit Wounds. Exit Wounds. He was in a bar fight and he was huge. Say hello to my sumo negro. And he did this move. And the guy that was he looked like a black sumo wrestler and grabbed and brought to get out of it. In a self-defense situation, if their hands are bigger than yours and they make this fist so you can't bend their fingers back, take your other hand and put your fingertips on top of theirs. And then simply squeeze their fingernails.
And use that.
Because it actually makes it way worse. I'd rather you bend my fingers back because I have more stretch that way than taking it down to... There's not a lot of flexibility from here to smashed against your hand. So it hurts really fast. And if you don't believe that, turn to the person next to you, hold out your hand like that, and just let them grab and squeeze. No takers. Good plan. All right. Well, we have several people doing it to themselves.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what it does is it gives you the leverage to make that move work. Now, do you remember at the very beginning when we showed this move, we did it as a handshake? And I said, now this is not an actual self-defense. This version, though, the handshake thing, is not something we made up just to show the move. It's actually a distilled version of a battlefield version of this exact same move that was designed to be used against someone attacking you with a knife. Okay, we mentioned before in a street fight, people don't normally come up and grab people around the throat, they punch. And if you get attacked on the street, 80% of the time, they're going to try to hit you in the head. If you're in boxing or kickboxing, you know to work the body because it'll come in later rounds. Street fights don't have rounds, and you're not trying to work for that. You're taking them out in a hurry. So 80% of the time they punch for the head. If they're attacking you with a knife, though, the statistics are opposite. 80% of the time they're going for the body because the head is a much smaller target. There's a lot of bone and light skin, and it's likely it'll glance off. This is a better target. So when somebody's going to attack you with a knife, you got a 4 in 5 chance they're going here. And before I show the move, if you're in martial arts and they have taught you the X block, the X block was intended to be used for dual weapons. 2 short swords, 2 sticks, 2 knives. Was never supposed to be used empty hand. There's a good reason for that. If she stabs me with a knife and she's aiming right here, and please observe, I am goony, but my body's actually in proportion. Legs, torso, and arms. I don't have gorilla arms. Okay? If she's stabbing me here, if I do an X block, whoa! Okay? And I'm not short arming my block either, where it would have gone for. That's just how it works. This is not an improvement. I mean, just so we're clear, if you're going to kill me, just put it here and be done with it. I have plans for the afterlife. I mean, Valhalla. 72 virgin, no. So look, there was always that Jeff Dunham moment. They say that we're going to be women. Oh, crack. I can have Clay Aiken. That was the next show. Yeah, Jeff Dunham was awesome before he got a TV show.
Yeah.
Bad guy attacks with a knife. Instead of the X block, your hand should be up. Not out like this. This is the wrong way to find out they have a knife. But here. So when the stab comes in, you're just going to drop your hand so you're making a V. This is simple. You're also going to shift your body just a little bit so if all else fails, when the knife comes in, it misses. I can't stress enough how important that is. Because if the knife hits you, the rest of the move doesn't matter anymore. You are now shish kebab.
Shish kebab.
Really? All right, so attack comes in, shift, little cover. See, I'm not grabbing. Because you can't do that. Something's coming in really fast, retracting. If you're grabbing, you're not moving. Just cover. Now, I'm not going to move her arm very much, but you see that space? Watch. This was the move the samurai developed. Knife comes in here, under, in. Now, I don't want to stay on my knees because it's not combatively sound. So I'm going to stand up. Up. And if the knife is still there, I know where to find it. If it's not, we're going to go to this side, we're going to strip the knife, and we're going to put it somewhere that makes more sense. And then I have a knife, and I need a new toy because this one's broken. Okay? But the move actually happens very, very quickly. We're not going to do it real quickly because the end of the first movement is with the knife going in her. She gets really mad when I actually stab her with the knife. But you're going here and under, in. And if they don't bend their elbow, you're sticking it in their leg so that the tip of the knife is stuck in the femur, and then grating and bringing it up. You know, I teach sword combat. We're doing, all right, straight cut. You're going right down the middle and cutting them in half. Nobody flinches. As soon as we talk about sticking the knife in the femur and grinding it a little bit, people are going, ooh, he's sick.
Aiming is a problem. It needs to be a clean death.
What makes this fun is when we teach it. Remember I said for shorter people, the move works really well? And I'm tall, and I demonstrated I can still do this on somebody who's almost a foot shorter than I am. When you teach this kind of stuff to children, parents hate me. Because what they do is they reach out to grab their 6-year-old who's short enough to go under their arm without ducking. And so when the parent goes to catch them in target because they're running around and they go, stop it, and they grab them and just go underneath and twist.
And then keep running.
Aww. That'd be
I
cute.
got phone calls from angry parents. I had a kid flipped his mom off the couch. They were wrestling. And he got a hold of 2 of her fingers, went underneath her arm, and flipped her onto the floor and separated her shoulder. She was going to call me from the emergency room, you know, in the waiting when you're sitting there for an hour waiting to see a doctor. So all you do is stew and get more and more upset. She was in the process of dialing me, and she was working out in her head what she was going to say. She was really mad until it occurred to her that her 8-year-old son flipped a grown-up who was not cooperating, clear over her head and separated her shoulder. Isn't that why I put him in class? And I'm like, thank you! And she goes, to be honest with you, I was still mad until she found a different target to be angry about because her husband was sitting in the love seat right across from the couch, saw the whole thing happening, and sat there and laughed. So he got in more trouble.
Even if I broke my shoulder?
I would feel horrible if I had it for my first time.
I don't think we can actually simulate, I can't give you all knives and say, here, stab each other, because she'd get way too excited about it.
But this is the point where you can pretend you're holding a knife and stab your partner.
And do it this way. Do not just hold out your finger because they're going to grab it, twist, and really bad things are going to happen. Okay? But you're going to start both people right foot in front and just do little lunge. Here.
Cover, move a little bit. And then,
Underneath.
as you go underneath, close your hands, bring it in, bring it up, and twist.
We always have people say, what about their other hand? That's why you're going under their arm. Should happen really quickly. Stab. And just about the time I'm going there, she's gone.
Bam!
Really? With sound effects.
Yeah.
Sound effects.
Hey, they started the sound effects at the very beginning.
They started it over there. I don't remember which one it was.
The guilty looking one and the smiling.
And to think, I liked her to start with, before she started beating on Billy. All right, stab each other.